It's that time of year again, time for food, family, food, friends, and have I mentioned food? Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am coming to you from Orange County, California. I just spent several days down here and also in San Diego for the Thanksgiving weekend. I went down to my aunt and uncle's in San Diego for Thanksgiving. I go there every year, and I'm now near my hometown here in Orange County, very near San Clemente, which is where I lived before I hit the road full time, and very close to also where my mom lives. And I've just spent the past several days with her, but I decided to come out here and camp at one of my favorite little campgrounds near her, because it's a very cool and large wilderness area in Orange County, a nice slice of nature. You feel like you're away from the city. There are, lots of wildlife in here. I've seen a bobcat in here before. I've seen coyote. I know there's mountain lion here as well. So it's a nice slice of nature not too far from the city. I hear a woodpecker in the tree right in front of me. There are lots of woodpeckers here, lots of cool different types of birds as well. I've just spent the last several days with family, and I decided to get out here, have a nice little evening solo, alone, in nature. Nature not too far from the city. As you can see, I have my little truck camping setup going right now. I left my trailer with another family member further north because I wanted to travel light down here and just get back to basics. It's a busy area in the city portion of the area, so I definitely just wanted to travel as light as possible. There are a few other campers here, just several sites away, but nobody directly around me, so it's really nice. It's a Sunday after Thanksgiving, so it should be pretty quiet. I am getting very hungry, so I plan on making some dinner here tonight. I'm going to make some chili on a chilly evening. I think it's a perfect meal to have. It's getting cooler. The lows have been in the low 40s here. It's not too bad. To me, that's actually very temperate. I've been camping in 20s and 30s, so it's not too bad at all. So we should be pretty warm here in the truck camper. Got a little heater. I've got my 0-degree bag. I'll kind of show you what I got going on here in a little bit, but I think we'll get dinner started fairly soon. Check-in wasn't until 2, and it gets dark at about 4:30, so we don't have a whole lot of daylight left, but yeah, let's get some cooking going. I think a lot of you have already seen my camp kitchen setup, which is one of these trunk organizers, and I have this little kit here. It has pretty much everything that you need, every utensil that you need, some spices even, a cutting board. So I've got that, and then this keeps everything really well organized. I've got a collapsible sink. Here is my kettle for tomorrow morning's coffee. I've got my coffee in here, some plates, some utensils, kitchen towel, all that sort of stuff. All fits nicely in here. It's got Velcro on the bottom so it stays put on the rug in my truck bed. It works out great for me. This bin here is just a hefty airtight container. It's got my dry goods, some extra kitchen products, some pancake mix, all the fixins for my chili, my mug for my coffee tomorrow, extra Ziploc bags. I just like to have everything airtight just to keep critters out, that's for sure. Down here I have my ice chest for all my cold items. Some butter, I just use this reusable blue ice. Got a bunch of that in here. Pepper here. This is what we got for our chili fixins. The main thing is Carol Shelby's chili kit. It is awesome. I've made it several times. This is a really easy thing to make, especially when you're camping like this out of a truck camper. It doesn't take a whole lot of ingredients. It's got a lot of flavor, so let's get it going. Now we are going to add our tomato sauce, water, and also add some diced tomatoes, and the spice packet. Also going to add some corn just to add a little bit more to it. Now I'm going to cover it and let it simmer for about half an hour. And also throw in some pinto beans here towards the end. I've got some Pillsbury Grand biscuits, and I'm going to see if I can just make stovetop biscuits here in butter. We'll see if this works. I'd say my first attempt might be a failure because the butter got burned and these look a little crispy, may not be done on the inside, so might have to forego the biscuits. Well, the biscuits were a fail, but the chili looks amazing. There are lots of planes flying overhead. All right, the cheese is nice and melted and ooey gooey. Yum, let's try this out. So good, and the perfect thing for a chilly evening. A quick word about the sponsor of today's video, AG1. I'm back in my home state of California for the holidays. I'll be bouncing around from family to friends, from my trailer to my truck camper, just all over the place. But that doesn't mean I have to go without my AG1, and their travel packs make it easy and convenient to make sure I keep up with my healthy habit every day. Let's face it, the holidays can be stressful. Thankfully, the adaptogens, vitamins, and minerals in AG1 provide support for stress and help balance the nervous system for a healthy mood. Whether it's grabbing food on the go or a holiday potluck, it's easy to get out of routine. Thanks to the science-driven blend of pre and probiotics and digestive enzymes, AG1 helps support gut health on the go with their trusty AG1 travel packs. It's really important for me during this time with all the sweets around, I have a major sweet tooth, all the junk food around, that instead I reach for my AG1 and fill up on that and fill up on some great nutrients and 75 vitamins and minerals and all the good stuff that comes in here. Skip the sugary holiday drinks and reach for AG1. Filled with high-quality ingredients like rhodiola, magnesium, and B vitamins, AG1 works to support sustained energy for even the most exhausting checklist shopping sprees. If you'd like to try AG1 for yourself or maybe get it for a gift for family or friends, go ahead and click that link below and they will give you a year's supply of vitamin D and 5 travel packs for free with your first purchase. Thank you once again to AG1 for sponsoring this video. Now back to the show. Let the after-dinner cleanup commence. It's only 5 o'clock and it is pitch black in here. There's a little bit of light outside, so it's time to get some lights happening. Can you see me now? Hopefully so. Let's see what we got here. Some of you have seen this already. I have these little puck lights that have Velcro on them, and they stick right on here onto the ceiling. I think I have everything pretty much set up in here. Got my reflectix on the windows for privacy, except for this back one. So now I can change into my jammies and get really comfy with some privacy. That is the moon shining through the trees. I'll see if I can get a better shot of it. Change into my jammies and I am super comfy and cozy, and it feels really good to be out here in a little slice of nature. I can tell you that since I've hit the road full time, I spend the majority of my time in very either tiny towns, medium-sized towns, or in the backcountry or around nobody at all. So coming into a densely populated area, congested area, is difficult for me. I have a hard time adjusting. It's really a case of culture shock. It's hard to get used to driving in that type of a situation again, and it is an adjustment, that is for sure. So I need to kind of space in between with some time in nature just to keep my sanity. People ask me all the time though how I combat loneliness, and one of the ways that I do that is to make sure that I see my family fairly regularly. So I usually don't go too long before I see them, maybe 3 or 4 months, maybe even less in between seeing my family. And it's really important for me to be with my family during the holidays, because I think that's one of the times that people do feel the loneliest, especially if they don't have family and friends that they can spend the time with, and it tends to make you feel a little bit more lonely. So it's important for me to adjust my route so that I can be home with family during the holidays. And luckily for me, there are still many places to get to near where my family lives or outside of where my family lives that I can spend time in nature and get back to being alone a little bit. I definitely don't mind being alone, but it's nice to also spend time with family and friends, and especially during the holidays. Folks, it is only 6:04 p.m. and it is pitch black outside, so I am inside my little truck camper here for the rest of the evening. I have service here, so I can watch some movies on Netflix or Prime. I have Netflix, Prime, Hulu, and I think that's it. So I can watch whatever I'd like on those channels or something on YouTube to keep myself entertained this evening. But it's just nice to be out here. I really like it, and it's been such a busy weekend that I'll probably be falling asleep pretty early. Tomorrow I'll briefly go over my setup in here very quickly. Again, for those of you that may not know this truck camping setup, I'll also link a video to my no-build truck camper setup for those of you that want to see more detail onto the setup that I have here. And also we'll make some breakfast, and I'll talk a little bit more about what it's like being home, what I've done since I've been home, and maybe explore this campground a little bit more as well. So it'll be a fun day tomorrow. But right now I'll just go ahead and chill out and relax and decompress a bit. So I'll see you all in the morning. Good night. Good morning. It is a beautiful morning here so far. I slept really warm. I think it was about 43 degrees as the low, but I have my 0-degree bag here, and I have my Thermarest Neo Air X Therm, which has a very high R value. So yeah, I slept really warm. I just now turned the heater on. I did not have that going all night. So just so it'll keep me warm once I jump out of this bag. But it is time to get some coffee going, that is for sure. Going to attempt to make pancakes this morning, but all the pans I brought were just these camp type pans. This is a cheap little mess kit, these 3 pieces here that I bought at Walmart. And then I've had this one for a little while, but they tend to not regulate heat as evenly as a regular pan, and I think that's one of the reasons I burned those biscuits last night. So hopefully I'll do okay with the pancakes this morning. Let's get this pancake batter on here before the butter burns. Second one always turns out better than the first. Seems like a rule with pancakes. These turned out perfect, and I think the thing that I did wrong last night is the pan was way too hot. And I had to have it at a much lower heat and put them on sooner before the butter had melted, and I learned my lesson, so I know what to do next time. I am so full from those pancakes, and as most of us have done, I have overindulged over this Thanksgiving weekend. I decided I was going to eat whatever I wanted, and that I did. Beyond that, I just spent a lot of quality time with my mom. We just went and shopped a little bit, and I also went down to visit my old hometown that I lived in before I hit the road full time, San Clemente, and check out some of the old haunt. I drove down the main drag of town, the downtown area, which is Del Mar Street. I went by the pier. I went to some of the old surf breaks that I used to shoot surf photography at. And for those of you that don't know, before I discovered the mountains, my life was all about the ocean. I was fully immersed in the beach culture, the ocean culture, the surf culture. And before I picked up a camera to shoot video for YouTube videos, I was a photographer, and I shot mostly action photography and pretty much all surf photography. I eventually discovered the mountains and discovered that I totally love the mountains, and that changed my life forever once I did discover that. But prior to that, I was a surf photographer. I would travel to shoot surfing, and I visited a couple of the old surf breaks that I used to spend hours on the beach on, and it was good. It brought back a lot of memories. I still absolutely love the ocean, so whenever I have a chance and I'm back home, I do like to come home and at least go spend a little bit of time by the good old Pacific Ocean. San Clemente is a really beautiful town. They have all kinds of beach trails, hiking trails. I did a lot of training on the hills and in those trails for backpacking trips before I hit the road full time, and it's just a beautiful community. It's gotten pretty busy. It's growing by leaps and bounds, and it was busy back then too, but maybe it just feels busier now because I'm used to being in such remote places. But it was just nice to go back and visit, and I always do go back whenever I'm in the area. So yes, a camera has been part of my life for many, many years. It feels like I don't go a day without having one in my hand. And photography and now videography is definitely a passion for me that I think will continue throughout my entire life. I do want to show you very briefly what I've got in my setup here, but before I do that, I'm going to walk you around the campground a little bit and show you around. I realized that I forgot to bring any hiking clothes. I don't have hiking shoes or any hiking wear, so unfortunately I won't be hiking today. But yeah, let me show you around this campground a little bit. It's pretty cool. It is dry camping at this site here, at this campground here. There are multiple campgrounds in this wilderness park. One of them does have electrical if you are in an RV, but this one here is dry, and right now they don't have water, unfortunately. I guess it's just because of drought situations in California. I really don't know why, so you do have to bring in your own water. It's $20 a night. There are bathrooms here, just out little porta potty type bathrooms, but it's really beautiful, and the spaces are spaced nicely apart and very peaceful. So anyway, let's go check it out a little bit. These are some of the sites that are directly in front of my site. They are a little less private than the one I have. I had a pretty good selection of sites that I wanted to take since there wasn't a lot of people here on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Of course, here is my side again, and it backs up directly onto the wash, so you don't have anybody behind you. There isn't a sight close by on the right side of the camera, and the one on the left side, you don't see the campers at all because they're behind tree cover, so it's very, very private. Site number 9. And we're going to take a little walk to the wash right directly behind my camp, so you'll see that I have all this wilderness area right behind my camp, which is awesome. Okay, back here in my little truck camper, and as promised, I want to briefly go over what I've got in here. I think I have a full list of links below, and I'll also link that video that I mentioned yesterday of my full video of the no-build truck camper setup. We'll start from the bottom and move up. Below me, I have a bed rug. It's a truck bed rug. It is fully washable. You could take a hose and rinse it on out. It fits this truck perfectly. They are made for different models, specific models of trucks, and it's got a lot of cushion. It feels really good underneath me. It's easy to vacuum up, and I love it. It makes it much more warm and cozy in here, that is for sure. Now, here I have my small Anchor power bank just to power up my camera and my phone. I knew it was going to be a short trip, so I didn't bring the larger one. I have a larger one that has much more power capacity, but this one was just fine for this trip. For heat, I have a Mr. Buddy Little Buddy heater. I found that the regular Mr. Buddy heater is way more than I need in this small space. This one is just fine. The only thing with this is it only has one setting. You do have to leave it ventilated, but it is perfectly safe to have in this enclosed space. I didn't turn it on until this morning. I didn't need it all night inside my sleeping bag, so I just had it just in case. And as I mentioned, it only got into the low 40s, which to me is fairly warm. I am sleeping on a cot made by Roll-A-Cot, and it fits very nicely over the wheel well. Over that, I just have a nice wool blanket, and underneath it allows me to have a lot of storage. So in this container here, I carry my heater as well as all my lights. I do have a carbon monoxide detector in here in case anyone's worried about that. I do have one, and I brought some extra lights, and I have a thermometer, just little odds and ends. You all saw the Reflectix I put on my windows. I've got that all stored underneath here. I cut it out myself and put the Velcro on myself, and I do have a video that shows how I made that as well, so I'll link that below as well. Probably one of the most important things in here for me is my toilet situation. What I have here is a pet food container. It's an airtight pet food container. I've got it lined with a hefty trash bag, and inside the hefty trash bag I have wood carvings, and that is what I use. I just twist this lid off, sit my bum right on here, and close it up. Bring toilet paper, and that is very helpful so that I do not have to get out of the truck camper at night. And it works out well, works out perfect for me. There are bathrooms here, so I didn't really need to utilize it, but it is here if I need it. As I mentioned this morning, I have a Thermarest NeoAir X-Therm sleeping pad, which has a very high R value of over 7, and a Sierra Designs Nitro 0 degree bag. I was toasty warm in here. I did not need the heater until I got out of my bag this morning. As you saw last night, I have various lamps and lanterns, and I did show you most of my food setup, kitchen setup, cooking setup last night as well. As you can see, it's a very simple, basic, no build setup, and you don't need a lot to go camping. You don't even need a truck camper shell. You can do all of this in a tent. It's very simple, very easy just to get out there and enjoy nature. Okay, it is almost checkout time here, so it's time for me to get all this stuff packed up and get out of here. It won't take me that long. And just like that, I'm all packed up and ready to hit the road. There's nothing to it. I had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. I hope that you all did too. I am so thankful for each and every one of you, for you tuning in, for you viewing, for your support. It means the world to me. I'm gonna go ahead and get reunited with my travel trailer. It's got a lot of little projects that I need to do on it. Yeah, now's a good time to do it. Winter is a great time to do it, as well as more adventures, more camping, more travel. I'm excited for what this winter has to offer. I hope that you enjoyed joining me on this little overnight camping adventure. There's a lot more to come, so stay tuned. See you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.
Driving down the road that I grew up on once again. It's when I pass your door, the memories come back again. Pictures of us flooding back just like a wave. Makes me wonder what happened, what you're up to today. Remember when we stole your mother's car, we drove for days. Teenagers with too many feelings and rage. We were higher than the ceiling, middle fingers to the sky. I remember thinking if I only could stop the time, way back when.